Caution, entertainment banter uses language that might be inappropriate for some listeners, and as always, watch out for low-flying comments.
Welcome back to another episode of Entertainment Banter. My name is Joel.
And I'm Matt.
And we're here to talk about TV shows.
All right.
I think TV shows are something, that we've had for a very long time since the beginning of television. People had TV shows, right?
I would say that's a safe assessment.
That's a safe assessment. And then we got movies. We got the motion picture.
We do have those.
But now people are doing something really interesting with TV shows. They're using TV shows to tell a much deeper story. Mm-hmm. None of this sitcom, none of this, Gary Coleman, I forgot what TV show that was from.
Oh my gosh, you're putting me on the spot here.
Oh my gosh,
You're also dating us.
I know. I forgot what it's called.
What is it called? I'm not not Silver Spoons.
Silver Spoons. But like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Growing Pains, rest in peace, Alan Thicke. Sad to see you go.
Yeah.
But those TV shows you can watch for entertaining values and good old family values.
One and dones
kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can watch one episode, and the father can get fired in the next episode. Everything's happy again.
Yeah.
But now we're watching TV shows like The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones.
Continuing
story arcs. Mm-hmm. And not only are they continuing story arcs, they're expanding a universe that's larger. Mm-hmm. And that makes the world more real. More people can relate to these worlds.
Yeah.
And now that's the main thing on television. And not only that, they one step further on that. Because you used to have to wait a week or even months for Game of Thrones. You have to wait months to see the next story arc of that same story. But now you can get on Netflix or Hulu and you can binge watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then you get this whole piece of a pie. And then you just got to wait a year for the next season.
Yeah.
But it's almost like a better than a movie because they explain more. Movies are 2 to 3 hours long. 3 hours, wow. Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah, that was the previous podcast. We're not doing that right
but
now.
Now you get these episodes that are hour long a day, or an hour long episodes, 40 to 50 minutes.
Right.
And you get 16 episodes a season about.
Yeah, and there's some really good TV shows that do the continuing story arc. And still, at the same time, honor the old school mentality of one and done episodes.
Like what?
For example, my wife watches Bones, and so the story is about a murder, and they have to solve it by the end of the episode. They do, done, right?
Isn't it like another CSI or another Law and Order?
It's not like that because I think those shows are just that really is like a one and done kind of thing. I haven't watched a lot of those, but to my understanding, those are actually based off real court cases and whatnot. Bones actually shows relationships with the characters. You watch the characters grow and develop and have relationships while they're solving the crime.
That's like CSI.
Okay. But the thing is,
so they find Bones alive.
Well, yeah, it starts off right away. They find a dead body, and the whole episode is about learning and discovering it, who it is. But the point I was getting at is this Bones franchise builds up to weddings. I don't think people are getting married in CSI, are they? Like people that work with each other.
I didn't watch that many episodes, but I felt like there was because
this
you get new stories a day. Like you get to live throughout their life. Case to case kind of thing. And so you see the characters slowly grow with each case.
Yes, and I get that, but Bones is different. Bones, you literally see the relationships grow and change. Like they are actually hooking up, or they're actually there's like a long-term love story involved where you want to see them get together, kind of like in The Office. Pam and Jim.
I don't watch The Office.
Well, God, you are 100% useless. How are you involved in entertainment banter half the time?
I don't like The Office. Have you watched The Walking Dead, Foo, or Game of Thrones?
I would love to talk about Walking Dead. We got to get to those. But the point I'm making is Bones has multiple story arcs within the show, but at the end of the day, it solves the case. But they will occasionally bring back their Professor Moriarty type, where the one that got away, and it eventually builds up. And usually what they'll do is they'll plant the seed in the first part of the season, and then by the end of the season, it comes back to haunt them. And I thought that, so you can break it down by season.
So pretty much you can watch any episode you want in it and be okay, but at the same time you watch it in a season row, you actually get some kind of extra story involved in it.
And I feel like, let's go to Walking Dead, because that's perfect. Walking Dead is a continuing story arc, right? Or Game of Thrones. But sometimes they kill off these people so much that if you walked into the middle of it, you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know what's going on. So if you watch the first season compared to watching the now season, you'd be like, where are all these people?
Right.
Well, of course, you should be watching it in order. You can't. You cannot watch it. You can't.
And I am guilty of that. I don't have time to watch all of those, and they scare me.
Do they?
They do a little bit.
Game of Thrones scares you too?
Not Game of Thrones. I'm talking about the
Walking
Dead.
A lot
I cry at Walking Dead. No, Walking Dead messes with my mind. I believe in humanity, and that show does not.
Does not.
Does not.
But it brings you to this area where you actually think that that's how we would think. Like, it brings you to that area. I love shows that do that. I don't care much about zombies. I don't care about the idea of the collapse of society. It's something sparkling over there.
Okay.
It's the sun blaring, yeah. Signal, help. I like shows or movies or ideas that, like, collapse society.
Yes.
And how humans would react to it.
It's very real.
And that is really interesting to me. Yeah. So there's a bunch, zombies, the new popular thing. Right. People are using zombies. But in Walking Dead, they don't. People complain that there's not enough zombie fighting and everything. That's not the whole point. You're getting this character development of what humans would do, like, in a collapsed society, which we are getting to that point probably. I mean, society may collapse one day. You never know.
Well, all you have to do is shut off the water for about 10 minutes, and I'm sure LA will be in a fire.
Yeah, right. Well, it rained for 2 seconds yesterday, and people freaked out.
Yeah.
You know, you see water on the ground, and it's
my
fine,
God,
but as it falls from the sky, everyone loses their minds.
Oh my God.
But
I know your reference. You just
ridiculous.
Yes.
Ah!
Oh my God.
So it's just the whole collapsed society thing of how humans react, and I see Walking Dead, and I feel like everything that can go wrong will go wrong, and that's what happens in the show.
Yeah, clearly.
But at the same time, I feel like these are scenarios that could happen.
Yeah.
A psychopath would want to, you get these egos. You're already dealing with people at work. I'm sure everyone who's listening to this right now, all two of you, that
thanks,
you
Mom.
have people at work that are like just crazy, like I can't work with this person or whatnot, and they're just like really, but they get these egos when people say, "Hey, you did a good job today." I'm like, "Hey, that guy said I did a good job," and then all of a sudden their head grows 3 times sizes that day, thinking like, "Well, I'm the badass here. I can do what I want." And think of that like if that person survived an apocalypse.
Right.
Something like a nuclear holocaust happened, right? Mm-hmm. And more than half the population gets destroyed. So now you have small pockets of populations, and this guy survived, and he survived, and other people witnessed that he survived well. Not saying that they couldn't survive as well, but humans have the mentality to follow.
Follow a leader.
If one person is willing to be that leader, they're all going to follow. Imagine how big that guy's head's going to be.
Yeah. And
they're going to listen to him with, like, no issues until another person comes in and starts butting heads.
Right.
But they're already listening to that guy, so then it causes this huge
rift. Oh, yeah, of course. Well, that's how it goes. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, with Walking Dead, because we're talking about the TV show aspect of things, the only thing that I find... Now, I'm not joking when I say I'm not an avid watcher. I like the show. But sometimes it just messes with my mind so much, I got to take a break from it. And then I cheat, and I'll, like, ask what happened because I just don't want to deal with it. I'll actually take the time to watch it. I know it sounds terrible.
It's awful.
But it's just one of those things where the show, it's actually a testament to the show. It's that good that it messes with me that much. I literally get too involved into it, I guess. It's too real for me in a weird sort of way. Like, I do believe this is how it would go down, and I don't like it. I don't like it, so I'm not gonna watch it. I just rather just hear about it. But like Walking Dead, the only thing I have a problem with is like the pattern. There's hope being built, and then they destroy it. Then there's hope being built, and then they destroy it.
Well, I'm reading the comics alongside of it too.
Yeah,
so it's really,
how's that?
It has the same kind of feel to it, but right now they're in a part where the hope has been built, and it's been strong.
Really?
Like, when they ended that, I think it was season 4. Did you watch up to season 4?
Just tell me.
Where are you?
All right, so here's the thing. I don't remember.
Are they in the prison still?
I don't know. I remember they went to Terminus and like.
Okay. So the prison's over. Okay, so I'm just talking about how like one of the season ends where everyone escapes from the governor and they all go to the prison and it's all hunky dory. Yeah. Like that's how a season ended. You're like, oh, this is where they're gonna live. They could have ended the whole show there.
They could have ended there, happily ever after in the prison. Yep.
But then like now every season ends on a cliffhanger. Like,
and it's awful. Yeah, it's awful.
Makes you on the edge of your seat. Like you never know who's gonna die.
Yeah, and that's the new pattern in TV shows. Before, it's like the heroes would always save the day at the end, and now it's like you don't know who's gonna make it or not.
Well, how did the guy who wrote Game of Thrones, the Martin guy?
Yeah.
He pretty much he explained it this way: like you watch a Tom Cruise movie, like Mission Impossible, you're gonna see him with a paperclip and a time bomb that's gonna blow up half the city. And you know what? You know he's gonna defuse that bomb because he's the fucking hero of the story.
Right.
But in Game of Thrones, the hero can walk in the street and stubs his toe. You damn well that guy's gonna die the next day. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing, you know.
Well, I wonder though. He started that, by the way. I feel like he was the first person that truly started the idea of like don't get too attached to these characters because
he made
in the first Game of Thrones what's his face, the actor
Ned Stark.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't believe it.
He killed off more well-developed characters
that
some sitcoms have developing for years.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, though. Like, I would be cautious if I was a modern day writer, because now it's like the new gimmick, you know, like pump shoes were the fad in the '80s. Like you're gonna pump up your basketball shoes. Like everyone's gonna have some sort of pump or air in their shoes now.
They have that again, by the way.
I'm sure they do.
It's back.
But the point I'm making is, if everybody starts doing it, it's gonna get old. And I also think it's a writer's cop out now. Like, oh man, we have nowhere to go with this. We got to keep it entertaining. I know. Let's pick the most favorite character and bump them off, and we'll do it some funny, weird, zany way, and that's it.
Maybe.
And surprise them.
Maybe, but also to me, it makes it more real. It means every character is up for grabs.
Well, obviously, I cheated, just so you know. And if you don't know it by now, if you're a listener, we have a lot of spoilers.
What is this? Walking Dead spoiler?
Yeah.
So you better be caught up all the way through all the seasons of Walking Dead.
Well, up until now, because who knows? They might be listening to this podcast 10 years after this show is canceled. But the point I'm making is that scene with the
Glenn getting his ass.
Yeah. So they teased you. So it was foreshadowing, right? They threatened him, and then he got out of it, but then it ended up happening to him anyways. You know, that was a clever
they killed two instead. In the comics, he killed only one.
Oh, did they kill two?
And they killed Abraham.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
They killed Abraham first. And had the exact wording in the comics, but it was Glenn. But then Daryl freaked out, and Daryl's not in the comics. So Daryl freaked out. Yeah, Daryl's nowhere in the comics.
No kidding.
And he freaks out and hits Negan, and then Negan says that has to be punished, and he kills Glenn. So like everyone who read the comics were like, "Oh, we dodged the bullet. We got to keep Glenn," you know?
Right.
And then Glenn gets killed.
But Glenn did die in the comics.
Yes, in the same way.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there are some similarities, but there are wild cards because they have changed things. Like, you know, one of the girls got killed before that with an arrow through the head.
Okay.
And that's how Abraham was supposed to die.
Interesting.
So it's like, well, Abraham's not going to die? That's awesome. So when Abraham got killed, everyone's like, what the?
Gotcha.
You know? So there are some interesting different. And Sasha's not in it either. Sasha's character is actually.
Is she the girl with the dreads?
No, that's Michonne.
Okay.
You know how Michonne and Rick got together?
Yes.
That doesn't happen in the comics. It's Rick and what's her name? The blonde girl that died from the governor who went off with the governor.
Oh, okay.
What's her name?
I don't remember, but
she's still alive in the comics, but they killed her off so early on. So it's like they follow the same. They follow the pattern, but they want to keep you guessing like who's actually going to live.
Gotcha.
People can assume that Rick or whatever, Rick and Michonne and Carl are going to live, but at the same time, they may not. You don't know what's going on. I mean, Rick doesn't have a right hand through the whole comic, so everyone's waiting for him to lose his hand now.
Interesting.
They made jokes about it, or close calls during the season opener.
Oh, really?
7, yeah.
So is that because he was bitten, or what?
No. The governor chopped it right away.
Wow.
Yeah, but Andy Kirkman, is that the guy who wrote Walking Dead? Andy Crater? Maybe. I could have gotten that wrong. Sorry, guys. He regretted it, I guess, apparently. About
the governor did?
Or no, the writer regretted cutting Rick's arm off that early.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why they haven't done it. So I feel like he's writing the comics in one way, and then he's helping do the TV show in ways that he thought, like, well, I want to do it. This is how it worked in the comics. Let's do it differently now. Let's see what it turns out to, you know? Kind of like run it in different directions.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, which is kind of neat. Which is how Game of Thrones was kind of running, too, this last season. Like, they caught up to the books, and now they went their own
behind on
direction.
That, so I might have to. You might spoil me.
No, we're not going to talk Game of Thrones. But also, I was going to talk about another post-apocalyptic scenario.
Yes.
Like The 100 is on the CW.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
It's like Dawson's Creek meets Walking Dead.
Okay.
But it's not. I hate when people say that. I'm not a fan of saying ship meets this because it's like now you're comparing these two shows to one show.
You gotta have to a little bit though to understand where it comes from.
There's no zombies in it. It's just like what happens if we give our nuclear weapons to an AI and it destroys the world.
Okay, so it's also a little Terminator action.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah. And it does, and now it's really interesting because now you're in a post-apocalyptic
Post-apocalyptic.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Keep going.
World with these, with this whole other group that are in space, and then they come down to Earth, and it's really interesting. I think it's really fascinating. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it, but it's like I want to say a kid's version of like a post-apocalyptic scenario, but at the same time, they are killing off main characters in it really quick.
That's what I'm saying. It seems like the new norm, huh?
Yeah, almost. It can be.
Well, let's talk about modern shows that are new that they don't do that. Is there a show that they haven't done that recently? A popular show?
Like an ongoing show?
Well, let's say like Daredevil. Obviously, you can't. They haven't killed off his friend and the blonde girl yet.
No. Well, if you're gonna go start, that's a Marvel Universe type of thing.
True that. You think Marvel wouldn't do that?
Well, it's also neat. Who knows? But it's also neat too if you think about all these TV shows that are going on. We have Marvel shows.
Yeah.
But they have one step above all the other shows. They link to the movies.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. Yeah, that's brilliant.
That's brilliant.
Insane marketing ploy.
I mean, they already have Daredevil seasons 1 and 2. Janet Jackson. They have Jessica Jones.
Yeah, Jessica Jones.
And they have Luke Cage, and they're going to come out with Iron Fist, and then they have the Defenders.
Yeah.
Which is going to be interesting. And they already had the Punisher introduced. They started introducing Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You know what's interesting?
And all these characters are going to end up in Infinity Wars.
Probably. Oh, really?
Most likely. Oh, yeah.
Could you imagine? That'd be amazing to give because the Daredevil crew especially has done such a great job. If they actually got some screen time in a Marvel movie, I think that would be
that's what I think.
A huge testament.
What they're building up to, because they're going to have the Defenders, right? They're going to have Jessica Jones, Daredevil, they're going to have Luke Cage and Iron Fist all on a team, and probably Punisher. They're all going to be on a team, right?
That would be insane.
They call themselves the Defenders. Well, when not Age of Ultron, when Infinity Wars happens, they're going to have the Avengers. Then they're going to have the Defenders.
Wow.
And they must know about the Defenders. And they're going to have to help, or there's going to be some kind of crossover there. There has to be.
If they introduce those guys in the movies, I would be severely impressed.
And I don't know how Ghost Rider's doing in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know.
Okay, I haven't. I'm so behind on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Me too. I stopped watching it.
I thought Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a little too campy for me.
But they're catching. It is a little campy, but they're going to catch up to. They still want to do an Inhumans movie, and all the Inhumans are being introduced in the TV show. So the TV show must be leading up to a movie.
Maybe. Yeah, you jogged my memory, and I wish I could remember what I was gonna ask you. But we were talking about before we get. It's Marvel always interferes with everything. You know that we always go back.
They're in everything though.
Yeah, we always go. Oh, I was gonna say we were talking about killing people off. Star Wars Rebels, the cartoon show. They're bumping people off.
Really?
Right. Well, they don't kill the main cast, but they're definitely killing off stormtroopers and showing them. People dying. Yeah.
In Rogue One, they killed off all the characters. I heard.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
But that's okay because that was kind of a given.
They're throwaway characters.
Yeah,
that was the whole point.
Yeah, you need to watch that so we can talk more in detail about it because I would love.
Every time I think about is it a good movie or is it a movie I'm like about?
I know, but the thing is, it's interesting.
Maybe I'll go see it tonight.
All right.
Maybe.
But anyways, let's get back to the TV show aspect of the current formats for today's day and age. Even the comedies are doing it. You know, there's continuing story arcs and comedies.
They are, like Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory, Office. My wife.
But that's the same thing. That's been going on forever, though. I've been watching Jerry Seinfeld a lot.
That's true.
I love Jerry Seinfeld, and it's a show about nothing. That's what it's supposed to be about.
It really.
But the characters are still growing. Each episode, they bring back old story. Like I just watched an episode last night where one of the characters.
Friends too, right?
Yeah, where they
Cheers. They all
did it. They bring back story arcs from the old go. If you haven't watched the story, like the joke works, but at the same time, if you knew the episode beforehand, it works better.
You know what's funny about Seinfeld is I love how they ended it. You remember how they ended it?
Yeah, in the prison cell.
Yeah, but you know why they go to prison?
Why?
Because they did nothing. That's what's so brilliant about it.
Oh,
the whole series is about them doing nothing, right?
Yeah.
And
they didn't do nothing. They
were in another country, and the witnesses, and they did nothing to stop it, and therefore, was it state or country?
Yeah, different state.
I thought it was a country.
They were heading to a different country, and they had to land early.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, the fact that they did nothing is what got them in jail. It's so stupid, but it's brilliant. I love stupid stuff like that. That's a perfect way to end that series.
Anything that happened to the Kramer guy who just? Someone said he did stand up a while ago. That was really bad, or like not bad, like he sucked at it.
Did he go out
like,
on stage with his hair all wild and swinging back? Like, yeah, like, woo!
Straight.
Yeah.
No, he did some kind of stand up that I guess like he started popping off at someone in the audience. I don't know.
Right.
Because you hear that Elaine, the person who played Elaine.
Well, she's
still
VP,
acting,
right?
Yeah, she's still acting. And Jerry Seinfeld's still a performer.
Yeah, he still stands.
He still stands up and he does his comedians in cars and coffee or something like that.
Right.
And
what's his face? I don't know what
George
he does.
Costanza?
George Costanza. He's a huge Trekkie fan. I didn't know that until I watched the Trekkie documentary. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, I thought that.
No,
was
I
funny.
don't know. Like, I'm always interested. Like, I'm really into Jerry Seinfeld right now. It's
well,
a great TV show.
Let's
Great
think of
TV
a couple
show.
of more shows because we're gonna run out of time soon. Can you think of any other modern shows that we talked about the format where they kill everybody off? We talked about an ongoing format. We talked about formats that are just still one-sided. Is there any other shows that kind of stand out to you?
Well, I like
how they do things differently.
Well, if you look at Orange is the New Black,
okay,
it's based off a true story, and they have killed people in the show, but it wasn't like no main characters really.
Okay,
they did kill off a couple semi-main characters, but like for a fact, as you're watching this show, that the main character you're following, Piper Chapman,
yes,
she will not die.
Yeah,
because it's her story. She will not die. If they kill her off, then they totally went away from.
Well, yeah, it could
reality.
ruin the show for sure.
Yeah, so for a fact she won't die, and it's following her story. And you watch Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, they could kill off,
anybody,
characters.
And we're trained to.
They don't want
that.
to. They don't want.
Right.
People think that Rick Grimes is safe in Walking Dead.
No,
he may not be.
No.
He may not be.
I have learned to not.
But people think it'll kill off the ratings. Like if you kill Daryl or something, it'll kill the ratings. But you know what? It'll be a bold move.
Rick or Daryl going would definitely hurt the franchise.
But they're not. It's not off. It's not off.
It wouldn't be done.
No, but in Orange is the New Black, they wouldn't be killed. And then in Breaking Bad, they Jesse and not Hank. Walter and Jesse were not going to get killed. There was like that weird chemistry they had throughout the whole season. And now they have this new TV show that's breaking off from. A lot of people break off from the TV shows now.
Of course, yeah.
And now you have Better Call Saul, which is a prequel. It starts out as a sequel because you see Saul in his new life.
Right.
And then it goes back to how he got to that life.
Interesting.
And now you follow him and you know that he's going to live and be okay through the show. And it's not like a people are all going to die show. It's just like a Breaking Bad where it's like all about drugs.
Right.
This is about him becoming a lawyer with his brother and all this drama. And it's interesting that way too.
It's kind of like Frasier because that was a spinoff of Cheers. It's one of the first successful spinoffs of its kind, if you think about it.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, absolutely.
For the longest time, I didn't know Cheers. I didn't know Frasier was a spinoff from Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
My friend was watching Cheers. I'm like, hey, it's Frasier. And the guy said, Frasier. Oh, it really is Frasier. Like, not just Kelsey Grammer.
Right.
But it was actually Frasier. And I'm like, oh.
That's funny.
Weird.
Yeah, it's one of the few spinoffs that I think has worked for an extended period of time. One show I thought of, did you ever watch Arrested Development?
No, I couldn't get into it. I hated the kid.
What I thought was very interesting about that, when Netflix brought it back, they kept the format, but what they did was they kept the format of what they did for a single episode, and they made it for the entire season, which I thought was very awkward at first because they changed their format. It's complicated, but they had a weird format for every episode. Mm-hmm. And instead of honoring that for the new season that Netflix did, they took that format and spread it out through the entire season.
So they dragged it out.
Yeah, but what was fun for me to watch was like when you watch the episodes, like it's one big story. That's basically what you describe it as. It's like say a 3-hour movie divided into 20-minute sections. So you watch the whole story from beginning to end. But what you discover is, like, for example, there was someone dressed in a weird outfit. A girl was dressed in a weird outfit talking to her mom. But at the time, when you first saw the episode, you just thought it was a weird person. And when we watched the episode towards the end, you realize, oh my God, it's her dressing up like that weird person talking to her mom. And I just thought that was a very interesting twist on how to do a TV show. Like, they just broadened it out. So, like, you had to go back and rewatch the stuff that you missed. Because you're like, oh my God, that's hilarious. Because at the time, you're focusing on the mom. But now, later on, you're watching that same moment, but from the girl's perspective, and you're realizing, oh my God, this is hilarious. And they did that for every single character throughout that whole season. So you had to like watch it a couple of times to really appreciate what they did. And I thought that was new and inventive. A new way of watching television.
I think as life goes on, we're always going to have new ways or reinvent ways to watch and tell stories.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean,
do you think it'll roll back to basics where we're going to have like, someone going camping and they get touched inappropriately and then it becomes like a public service announcement, like if anyone in your family goes camping gets touched, then like those old 80s like give me a break episodes or whatever it is?
I don't know. I just know as time evolves, I mean, humans love to tell stories. It's obvious that we love to listen to stories, we love to tell stories, we love to exaggerate on stories, we love to make up stories. We're humans are storytellers.
That's right.
This is one of the main reasons why humans have entertainment such a big deal.
Oh yeah.
Like movies, TV, radio, music. It's all about telling stories, and it's one of the biggest industries we have in the world right now.
And
it makes the most money. It escapes you from the reality you're in. It brings you books too. They're also involved in it. You get brought into these worlds, and people just want to live in these worlds because they seem better than reality itself. And yeah, human imagination is way better than the reality itself. I mean, some people's realities are better than others, but really people look at other people's lives as your life's better than mine, but it really isn't. Probably you don't know what's going on in that family. I do have a tendency to look at people and go, well, I'm kind of jealous that guy has that job, but I have a good job. Like, why should I be? The grass is always green on the other side. So with these stories, people feel like we all get in the same world, and we just enjoy telling stories. And I feel like we should do a montage of like, I don't know, in my head I'm seeing like Halo, and I'm seeing Spider-Man, and I'm seeing like, Walking Dead or Game of Thrones, and you see like all these different stories, and they're all just being told by different people. And it's just interesting.
Well, yeah, it's maybe a subject matter for another time, but getting into that, you just kind of triggered my mind. Maybe we can talk about next time. Is like the relationship the viewer has with the characters, relating to that. So maybe we'll do that next time.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's some people that generally get emotional when something bad happens to people or characters that they love.
They do. I mean, it's a shock. Like you get so drawn in these movies. That's why I think people ask me sometimes when I leave a movie and they go, "So what'd you think of the movie?" I'm like, "Well, let me think about it for a sec." Because during the movie, I'm trying my best not to think about anything else. Just have my brain go blank
into the world.
And get into the world and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And once you get into that world, you feel like you're in that world. And then if someone gets killed, if someone gets hurt, you're like, you feel it.
Right.
So like, I mean, that's why some women actually cry, some men too. Yeah. I mean, my fiance would say I don't cry during movies, but some movies made me choke up a little bit. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Because you get so involved in these movies and you feel like, oh my God, I know these people. I know this person.
There's one movie for me personally that gets me every time, and it's Rudy. I don't know why. Yeah, it gets me every freaking time. I don't know if it's Goldman's like score or what, but goddamn, every time.
every time.
I get like a baby. I don't cry, but I definitely get like misty-eyed.
Choked up a little bit. Yeah, and it's just like you get involved in these movies, and that's the same time when you see these people in real life. You think you know these people because you see them so much. You feel like you can relate to them. Yeah. And you really don't know who they are. And it's just, since the dawn of time, man tells stories.
Yeah.
Cave paintings.
Oh, yeah.
Talking on the campfire. I mean, humans love to tell stories.
Well, back then it was the only way to pass on knowledge and history.
Yeah, and it still kind of is. I mean, sometimes I think about, like, when we're gone and people pick up, like, some old, cassette tape that still works. Who knows?
Right.
Because we're all going digital now, and it's Jerry Seinfeld, and that's what this is what these people were like.
Oh my gosh. Well, what's funny about that too? We're getting way off. So this is why it's called banter, folks. All right. So you're talking about the tape.
I gotta point it out.
It's all coming back. You realize that people like that. They like the retro. Records are coming back. I wouldn't be surprised if tapes came back, especially with Guardians of the Galaxy and the soundtrack, and they purposely push it the way they do. It would totally be an easy fad to come back. I know records for a fact are huge right now.
They are. Vinyls have always been huge. They never really gone away.
They didn't go away, but
they've
made a ridiculous comeback. They're back, man. People love them.
Maybe we'll talk about technology going around next time. Who knows?
All right, sounds good. Well, it looks like once again we've gone over our time limit.
Well, we try to stay within 30 minutes. So
I
think wherever you're trying to go to right now, wherever you're trying to go, tell a story. Tell a story of your life. Build up your life. Maybe make it more worth it than what people think. Yeah. And then they're going to say, I want your life. Because you know what? Everybody's life is worth living at least once.
I'm pretty sure probably figure that out. But, like that you're lying. But whatever. It depends. Just don't go too crazy, I guess. But thank you for listening to us. You've been listening to Entertainment Banter. I am Matt.
And that makes me Joel. I'm done.
Stay tuned for the next video.